Hello, and thank you for coming to join me to do Tai Chi today. Today we are going to do part 2 of the 24 posture therapeutic Qigong form. We're going to do 8 movements for the middle body. And the next video in this series, the 3rd video, will be 8 movements for the lower body. So the complete 24 posture form will include 8 movements for the upper body, 8 movements for the middle body, and 8 movements for the lower body. So before we begin today, we're going to do an opening practice. And today we're going to do an opening practice from energy medicine. And it's called the cross crawl. It's a very easy practice and I think you'll really enjoy it. It's a great way to exercise if you can't get outside. It really gets all the chi flowing and the blood moving. So we'll just begin by taking some steps. It's the basic movement. And now we'll begin to add our hands to it. I'm going to begin to tap the same leg that's coming up. It's the beginning part of the cross crawl. And now we're going to cross over. I'm going to tap the opposite leg. So this practice improves not only your body function and your chi flow and your blood flow, but it also improves your brain. So we're going back to tapping the same knee that's coming up. So when we tap on the same side, we're acknowledging that sometimes when our chi flows in our body, it doesn't cross over. And like, for example, we know that our left brain guides our right side of the body and vice versa. And so it's really beneficial to have the chi crossing over. So now we're going to cross over. And you'll notice that I'm crossing the midline of my body. So energetically, I'm connecting the right side of my body with the left side of my body. One of the interesting things about this opening practice is that it's being used quite a bit in school systems now. And what it demonstrates is that children who performed the cross crawl before they began their lessons performed considerably better than children who did not do the cross crawl. They were able to read better and to comprehend better what they read. And besides that, it's slightly aerobic, which is a really good feeling if you have to be inside for any reason. Okay, so we're going to do our last set now, and we'll end with crossing over. Now we'll pause, take a deep breath. So breathing in and breathing out. Your exhale be nice and long. So breathe in and breathe out. As your hands come down and you breathe out, see if you can feel your body relaxing and settling. Now once more, breathing in and breathing out. And now we'll bring our hands to our belly and gather the chi. So this is a wonderful place to begin our movement number 1 for the second set of Therapeutic Qigong postures. The first one in this series is called Circulate the Qi. So in the palms of our hands, what research has shown is that this is the most powerful place for us to send or emit qi. We want to give qi to ourselves, or we want to offer healing qi to someone else. We open our palms. This is called the Lao Gong point. So for this first movement, we're going to cross our palms and connect them and place them right here over your belly button. And we're going to circle around, begin to circle around. So we'll bring your hands up and down. And as you breathe, let your hands move with your breath. Nice and slow, so breathing in and breathing out. So now we're going to reverse directions. Breathe in and breathe out. As you might guess, this movement is actually to promote the health of your digestive system, bringing soothing, balancing energy and attention to this area. So now, as we did in the first set, I'm going to wash the organs before we move on to movement number 2 of the second set. Movement number 2 is called the lotus leaves rustle in the wind. And we're going to place our hands back here on our kidneys. This movement is especially for your low back, your adrenals, your kidneys, your bladder. And we're just going to begin a nice, gentle circle. Just imagine that you're using the tip of your sacrum to draw a circle on the ground. A nice balanced circle, one not too big, just being sure to stay within your stance. This is not necessary to make a big movement, but just to gently circle. So we come back to the center now. And we wash the organs. So now we move to movement number 3, which is called pushing the stone tablet. And this movement opens the chest, provides a gentle rotation for the spine, and opens the whole upper torso. So we'll begin the movement forming loose fists here at your side. And I'll just walk through the movement at first to kind of give you a sense of where we're going with it. So with one of your hands, you're going to be pushing forward and stretching. Notice how I'm opening the palm of my hand. And with my other hand, I'm going to be moving my elbow straight backwards. And I'm going to turn to look at my elbow. And you come back to the opening posture. So let's try that together now. So the elbow goes back, the hand comes forward. Elbow goes back, hand comes forward. Breathe in. forward, elbow backwards. Come back to the center. Breathe in. Exhale. Come back to the center. Breathe in. Exhale. Stretch. Open. Come back to the center. We'll do one more. Breathe in. Stretch. And come back to the center. And now we'll wash the organs. So our next movement is called Dusting into the Mountain. And this movement is a little on the tricky side, especially the footwork. So I'm going to actually go through it now, but at the end I will break down the footwork so that you can slow it down so that hopefully it'll be easier to absorb exactly what's happening in this movement. And another characteristic of this particular movement is that it has a double exhale or a double breath. Anytime we're using a double exhale or a double breath, we're actually cleansing our system from toxins, because our breath is one of the ways that we release toxins. And some of the toxins can only be released through the breath. So here's how it looks. So we're going to begin by forming loose fists here at the side. Then I'm going to bring one arm up, so I'm hugging a tree. And at the same time I move my upper arm, I'm going to move my opposite foot. So I'm going to turn and finish my turn, settle into my stance, and then exhale and exhale. And again, come back, I'm hugging the tree, and then I move the opposite hand and foot, turn the other direction, settle into my stance, and exhale, and exhale. So again, opposite foot and hand to make the turn. And you're coming around. Be sure that your stance feels solid and strong. And then exhale, exhale. Repeat on the opposite side. And release the breath. Do it once more on each side. And come back to the center. You wash the organs. This is a wonderful, very powerful movement. Not only does it help to cleanse the body of toxins, but the weight shifting and the stance is a great help to improving your balance. So we'll talk about this a little bit more at the end of the video. So now we're going to move on to our next movement, which is called Parting the Wild Horse's Mane. So we begin slightly wider than a shoulder stance. And we cross our hands in front. Breathe in. And as you exhale, you watch the hand go down. Cross the opposite hand. Breathe in. And now watch the other hand go down. So crossing the hands, going into a squat, coming up, watch the hand. Cross the other hand, coming up, exhale. We'll do it one more time. So this practice is excellent for your balance, for your stretching of your hips and your thighs, and the coordination of the movement of your hands and your legs and your breath. The next movement is called Willows in the Wind. So I'm going to put one hand on my hip. I'm going to put the other hand here at the back of my neck. And before we begin this movement, I'd like to caution you to please be really careful with your neck and only bend your spine and your neck to the extent that it's comfortable for you. And if at any point it becomes uncomfortable, then you should immediately release and come back into a more comfortable zone or space. And what we're doing with this one as we stretch this whole side here is we're releasing a lot of congestion in your lymphatic system. So let's breathe in. And as you breathe out, gently lift your elbow, tilt your head. And your focus needs to be on this area of your side beneath your elbow. And then you come back to the center and switch. Breathing in, breathing out, and stretch. Come back to the center, breathe in, and now breathing out and stretch. Back to the center, breathe in, breathing out, and stretch. We'll just do this a couple more times on each side. Just notice that area that runs down the side of your body and see if you can feel it opening up. Feel it in my back and my shoulder blades too. So we'll wash the organs. And our next movement, we're actually going to widen our stance even just a little bit more. This one is called the Phoenix Spreads Its Wings. We're going to get into kind of a semi-squat here. Be sure to keep your back straight and honor your back. Whatever is comfortable is what you should be doing. You can only lean as far forward as you're comfortable, and keeping your back straight will protect your back. So with this movement, we're going to breathe in from the center, and then while keeping your lower body rooted, with your eyes, you're going to follow your hands to one side and come back to the center and breathe in. Now exhale to the other side. Back to the center. Breathe in. Back to the center. Breathe in and exhale as your hands go to the side. Back to the center. We'll do it one more time. And come back up. Wash the organs. So this movement is for the lower belly, the spine, the balance, and then the flexibility of that upper spine. So now we get to the last movement. I love the name of this movement. It's called the Green Dragon, dashing and turning. So the footwork is exactly the same as the footwork in the movement where we thrust into the mountain, the number 4 movement in today's sequence. So the 4th movement and the 8th movement of today's sequence have the same footwork, although we have added a different part with the upper body. So we begin. Let's find a good shoulder width stance. Loose fists at the side. Hug the tree. So we're going to turn. And now we're going to settle into your stance. And circle the hands around the organs. And now circle the hands over your head. And turn. Circle the hands around your organs. Circle the hands over your head. Wonderful rhythm to this movement. Settle in, sink into your stance. Circle your hands around the organs and now over your head. Settle into your stance. Let the movement come from the center of your belly as you let your hands move in a wonderful circle. And this will be our last one. So we'll come back to the center and wash the organs.